Hi, you're about to watch a Deck the Hallmark episode. Thanks for doing that. We want to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by Philo. You can get 25% off your Philo membership and watch all of the movies we're talking about by going to philo.tv/DTH.
Unlimited DVR, all your favorite channels in one place. Go to philo.tv/DTH. Philo is for everyone.
Enjoy the episode.
So when are you going to hit it? I want to make sure.
Bramble Jam
God bless
Podcast.
it.
Wait, again?
Again. Hi, I'm Daniel Pandolf. I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm sorry.
Hey,
No, say it louder. No. Own this right now. Because you know what?
You know what?
garbage we
I'm
just
Brandon, and
watched?
I'm currently in a pretty rough spot with When Calls to Heart.
hey, it's Panda. Listen, we try really hard here not to be,
We have a lot of fun here,
wild.
Deck Hallmark.
but there's times where we struggle with certain things. I used to like When Calls to Heart.
The idea.
When Calls to Heart set in the night. I mean, that's a great. It could be. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm Dan, and I can think of 1,000 things I'd rather do than ever watch When Calls the Heart again. But here we are only in season 2, and this is the Deck the Hallmark
Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Who's calling that hard?
I am. Woohoo! Yoo-hoo! Hey, Hart, where you at? Come here, Hart. Come here.
Man, if you're listening with earbuds, that right there is going to hurt.
Where you at?
You were in there. You were in the pocket there. You were right in it.
Pockets.
Pockets. Not in the class photo. Yeah. What is this?
Just
Did we
R.I.P.
toss one up for Pockets?
Love me some Pockets.
Is Pockets dead? Is Pockets? If he had to watch this, he probably would be dead.
Guys, we are on the season 2 finale.
You promise?
No amount of vacation could prepare
No.
us for this.
No. We came in fresh, had done nothing at 9:30 in the morning, 10 days off, and this still hit different. It just hit.
It just, my body left my soul.
I thought I had mono. I thought I had mononucleosis. It was hard for me to lift my arms in the air. I went to the doc and got checked out. He was like, "Did you watch the season 2 finale?" When Calls Hard, I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah."
We see this a lot.
We see it a lot. Just go back to regular activity.
Remember whenever you found out that a buddy in high school had mono?
It was always
and you
a
were like,
kissing
yeah. Poor guy didn't do anything. You just got it. It actually really sucked, man.
As everyone in the locker room shares the same bottle of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, boy. I don't know how you got it.
Yeah.
Two girls, man.
Man, it happened to be all the time in my locker room.
Dude, you'd go around licking stuff hoping you'd get mono.
Right. He was homeschooled. It was a weird bit.
Yeah, it was. I kept licking the remote. I was like,
got mono. Your mom wasn't nearly as excited.
yeah. She's like, "Atta boy." It's weird because you haven't ever left the house and you don't have a girlfriend, loser.
What? Your mom is meaner than the
Wow.
dad in Sweet Carolina.
Never. We don't
No,
even
it's not
joke.
possible.
No, not possible.
Not possible.
Cold-hearted.
Guys,
Also, back then, you just had to be a little meaner. Or your kid wouldn't survive.
Yeah, that's true.
right. We're talking about When Calls to Heart. Anybody want to guess the title of this episode?
Don't go breaking my heart.
Ooh, good one.
Heart's just heartin'.
Ooh, close. What does that mean?
I think you know.
With All My Heart, just the name of this episode. It originally aired on June 13th, 2015.
2015.
A little something like this. Elizabeth and Jack return from Hamilton, and they are they're still upset with each other. But after Elizabeth sees Jack get in a gunfight with a fella, she's like, "Oh man, I do love him." But Jack is like, "Listen, I don't want to talk about this right now. I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about us." Gowan threatens to shut down the cafe if Elizabeth doesn't finish some repairs. So Pastor Frank offers to help. Something's weird with him, though. Bill returns because apparently he isn't always in town, despite what you might think. It looks like he's investigating this guy that Jack arrested. We'll get to that later. After Bill arrives, his wife Nora shows up and hoping to mend their marriage, but he's not having it, and she's mean to Abigail again. Lee starts hanging out with another woman, which really upsets Rosemary. A big storm comes, and Jack's dog Rip gets out because Elizabeth left the door open, and he gets lost during the storm. Gowan thinks that Pastor Frank's up to no good. I tend to agree with Gowan on this one. He's committed to finding out what Pastor Frank's deal is. Jack and Elizabeth go out to find Rip. They take shelter in an old mine where apparently Rip has hid before. Trapped together from the storm, they're hanging out. They're talking. Beams start to fall down, and it's real bad there for a little bit. They start talking about kind of what's keeping them apart and all that stuff. And they start to make eyes again, and then she shows him her knees, which means it's time to say I love you, and they kiss. They get back to Hope Valley, and she gets a letter from Charles. We then see Jack show up to pick up a little box from the store, and he asks the store dude to keep it a secret. But we all know that guy's telling the town. Are you kidding me right now? We then see Jack get a telegram to arrest Bill. Apparently, Bill's up to shady doings. But Bill's like, I'm not the one up to shady doings. I'm working undercover to find out which Mountie is up to shady doings. But Jack's like, nothing I can do here, man. The telegram says you're a bad Mountie.
I saw them live.
Bad Mountie?
Yeah, I regret it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not great.
Elizabeth is hanging out after school one day, and we see someone show up and propose to her. Surely it's Jack. It's Charles. Jack sees the whole thing. He gets sad. We don't know what Elizabeth says. And that, my friends, was When Calls the Heart with all my heart.
Yay.
We did it. What was your favorite part of the synopsis?
When it was over, because it was like reliving the whole show
Yeah,
again.
it was.
Well, that hurts.
No, it's nothing about you,
I
buddy.
think when you were describing the beams falling was my favorite part of the
It was
synopsis.
great. It was
the
funny.
beams start to fall, and
I thought when you mentioned her knees, and then that means it's time to say I love you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Nothing says
That's
I love
good.
you like knees.
that's right.
Oh,
So
that's
I have
the
that
truth.
bumper sticker.
Yeah, they lost a lot of viewers over that.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of viewers were like, they're showing knees on this show? Out.
I thought this was When Calls the Hot, not
This is the last reason I have my cable. One channel left with wholesome entertainment on it.
I'm going to Pureflix. It doesn't exist yet in 2015, but it will.
Yeah. How many listeners are we losing right now? Are we hemorrhaging
If
them,
you
or are they
if
both?
you wanna watch
by this
Pureflix,
point,
go
400
for it.
episodes in, like you should get the bit.
Yeah,
right?
like
Come on.
surely you have to, right? Especially if you're listening to the When Calls the Heart episodes.
Yeah,
Like,
no kidding.
That's such a.
Yeah.
You're not bothered.
Last episode we mentioned Hootie and the Blowfish. You'd have been out then too, probably.
Yeah.
That's devil music.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Boy, you're just raining down
Listen,
fire today.
I'm surly. This is a waste of my time. Not this. Friendship's never a waste of my time. When Calls the Heart season 2 is a waste of my time. It's a turd bucket, boys. I'll get to my hot take later.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back here on Deck the Hallmark.
Philo.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the new TV service?
What's that?
60 channels.
Okay.
Under $30 a month.
Love it.
It's almost like the best deal in TV.
Oh,
You can get
wow.
your reality. You can get your Christmas movies. You can get your prestige dramas. You can get kids programming. It's literally for everyone.
What's it called?
It's called Philo, and it's 60 channels for everybody in your house, and you get a DVR, and it's unlimited, and you can get it for 25% off.
Surely something like that's going to break the bank.
No, not Philo. Philo gets it. You're going to save money with Philo. You're going to save even more if you go to philo.tv/DTH and save 25% off your first 2 months.
Thank you for calling. Also, pick up some apples on your way home.
Philo and goodbye. Who were those?
They're not good. I don't think. I don't think they're good. No, they're not good. Guys, we're talking about When Calls the Heart. We're
What's
talking
weird
about.
is that one of them said Philo, like, hello, and the other one said, thanks for calling. I'm confused at who actually made the phone call.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. You'll never know. We're talking about When Calls the Heart with
Show
all of my heart.
sucked. Merry Christmas.
The Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Let's do this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this show. Let's
do it.
We have 4 segments. And we're going to start with the hot take. Panda, season 2, last episode. Where you at?
I'm glad season 2's over. The fact that this was an hour and a half, boy, was just tough sledding. Guys, it starts off with a bang with Jack grabbing a gun,
And then
it's just the law of diminishing returns exponentially increase. Like it was so bad. You have Jack, a couple perks, if I'm going to say a couple perks in this episode. Jack makes eyes again, like the Jack from season 1, which is great. And then I'm out. I got nothing else. Do not care. Could not have cared less. This show is boring. It hurts my heart.
Yep.
I'm sad.
Yep.
The only thing that gives me hope, well, that's hopes and valleys. We'll talk about that. All right.
Yes, I would be interested to hear to like binge this season of Deck the Hallmark covering the show because I do feel like it'd be funny to listen to us like just start and like we're just up here.
optimism of the
We're like it's
finale
gonna
at
get
1.
better. It's gonna Hamilton's a bummer, huh? What? Oh boy, this is a turd. Yeah, man, bad season. I'm glad it's over, but I am excited for season 3. You know what can you do? It's an hour and a half. Like these are long boys. Season 3 do more of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Season 3
Not
do
as
more.
much,
hope
though,
not.
right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
as
those
much.
long boys are hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
When I was in college, I had a class called the History of Canada. And when I tell you the class was boring, it's not because of Canada.
No, we love Canada.
Canada's wonderful. But the professor of this class, he spoke in a monotone voice. It was at 8 a.m, and it was the bane of my existence. And I hated it. And I fell asleep in the class almost every day. And I am here to tell you that bring me just a barrel full of History of Canada with that guy over what I just watched. This is a new low point. It is awful television. Like, not only is it bad from a standpoint that it's hard to keep, literally, none of us could keep our eyes on the screen. We all were on our devices, which is very rare for us. We all were trying to find reasons to care, and we couldn't. And then they have the audacity at the end of this to put forth a cliffhanger of the smallest proportions ever because none of it is earned. Marcus Rosner's barely in the last 4 episodes. Elizabeth wants nothing to do with the character. Does anyone in their right mind think that she's going to say yes to him? Like, it's not even a believable cliffhanger. This was depressing
Say
television.
yes to the dress, though.
Yes to the dress. This was depressing television at its height.
There's nothing of consequence that occurs in season 2. Nothing of value.
This is
Bill is now in jail.
Yeah, but he's going to be out.
He's going to be out. Like, who cares?
This is the pit. This is the bottom of the barrel right here.
It's the Slough of Despond.
The Slough of Despond. I would have rather watch any Hallmark movie we've ever seen other than instead of When Calls the Heart season 2. Any Hallmark movie we've ever seen over any episode of When Calls the Heart season 2, even the 45-minute boys. That's how bad it was.
It was bad.
It was terrible.
Wow. Put that on the DVD
You know what,
box.
though? I got bad news. I just remembered. We got a Christmas movie before season 3. So that's another hour 25.
That's okay. Give me Christmas, right?
Boy,
It's an hour 25, boy.
Okay.
Is that a special purchase? Like, how does that work?
Our Bramble Jam credit card is just taking it on the chin.
At what point does the credit card company call you and they're like, hey, we're canceling your credit card because you're buying When Calls the Heart?
Capital One's calling up and be like, this can't be you. This is, what are you guys doing? Nobody buys this. We're buying it.
Guys, let's talk about the feels, shall we? What gave us
Okay.
feels? Panda?
Yeah, when they're in the mine and they're making eyes with one another, it's good.
Yeah. Man, Bill at one point is doing something with his hands. What's he doing? Is he looking at money?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know what scene you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
He's
He
looking
is-
at
and
money.
you-
And we get a real nice shot of his hands. And I know, guys, this is going to be a weird bit, but Bill's hands are beautiful.
No, he's putting his hands on Nora.
Yeah. Oh, on Nora. That's right. Right. That man's what's his real name? Jack
Wagner.
Jack Wagner. Jack Wagner. You got beautiful hands, man. Like I've never seen a man with such pretty hands.
Would you say delicate?
that guy should
yeah.
delicate hands? He should be a hand model. They were exquisite.
Exquisite.
Exquisite. They were exquisite.
Exquisite.
They were.
Why, hello there.
Decanter.
That is exquisite.
They were exquisite, and I was taken aback. I think this is the loudest I've gotten this season. I was like, boys, look at his hands. So I
that's
guess
what
You
it's come
sounded
to.
like me with the aloha. we just kept going, okay.
Guys,
where we are right now.
wild hands, huh?
Wild hands.
Hands.
No, it's a no for me. I don't know why we're doing this. It's an absolutely not. I hated life every second of it. It was bad.
Well, let's take a quick break. We're talking about, wait, what's yeah? Take that over. Well, it is time for the Wait What. It's the part of the show where we talk about what in this episode of When Calls the Heart made us go, wait, what? And I'll start with you, Panda. Panda, what do you have, pal?
Is Jack ever a Mountie? Like he's in pedestrian or civilian clothing like most of the time.
Pedestrian. His clothing is pedestrian.
Pedestrian.
Next.
He's fixing a window. Like, why is he fixing the window? You're a Mountie, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just I
I
don't
wrote,
understand.
how many days off in a week does the town Mountie get?
Yeah,
'Cause there's
that's
only
my
one
question.
Mountie in town, and my man is never working.
Never.
Never.
Just doesn't happen. The only other thing is, and this is super arcane knowledge that I would know because of just my background, but they mentioned that the pastor went to Fuller, the seminary at Fuller.
Yeah.
That's in reference to Fuller Seminary in Pasadena, California. It started in 1947. Several, 20, 30 years.
Missed it by 36 years.
And I Googled just to make sure that I wasn't like way off on it, because that is actually a Fuller Seminary is an incredibly well-known seminary, one of the main seminaries in the country. So just to double check, there was not a seminary there before. There is not. So when you say Fuller, they could have picked any town. They could have just said seminary, but you picked a very specific seminary, a very well-known seminary, 1947.
Missed it by 36 years. So close.
That
You tried, though.
And that was Seminary Talk with Panda.
Hey,
How about those
Panda?
people?
Hey,
For
what?
the people out there that are thinking about going to seminary, what's a good one for them to look into?
Hey, why don't you go to that one right down the road from you? It's really top notch. It's called Seminary.
Talk about Holmes.
Holmes Bible College?
Holmes Bible College over there in the strip mall behind the Publix and Travelers Rest.
Really wish you wouldn't. You could.
Did you do it? Is that you?
Yeah, I'm done, man. I got nothing.
Man, I just feel for these poor 6-year-olds that have to listen to her read Poe for hours on end. Like, I can't imagine how hard it must be to teach that wide of a spectrum.
It would be so hard.
But I have to imagine one of the first to go is Poe, right? Like when you're planning things, you're just like,
Poe's a lot more interesting than
Poe's
some that can
fascinating,
read.
man.
to the 6-year-olds?
No, the 6-year-olds are going to be bad. It's going to be bad for them regardless. But like, give me that over like Hawthorne. Like Scarlet Letter just bored me to
I
tears.
think you could get I think you could get the boys on board with Poe, and I think because of the violence, because of it's a pretty dark, edgy thing. I think most kids would be at least intrigued on some level with Poe. But I'm not saying most 6-year-olds are on board. Like they'd still be like, oh my gosh, this is
I
awful.
think my kids would be terrified.
Guys, how would you handle that situation? Teaching
I'd
that
split them up
wide?
into groups. They would be in groups the whole time. I would never have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old working on the same thing, ever. I'd be going around the room, station to station.
Dude, you were doing project-based learning before it was
That's
cool.
right. Get out of my way, blue sky thinking. What if this church was an airplane? Sorry. People do that for a living and get paid a lot of money. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to degrade that.
Here's some spaghetti and some marshmallows.
right.
Do your worst.
Can you make a new computer from it?
People in the 2010s decided, what if MacGyver was education? That's what they did. They just went, this is the new wave of the future called blue sky thinking. MacGyver had a toothpick, a Swiss Army knife, and a piece of tinfoil, and he created a nuclear reactor. What if we tell kids we don't have any supplies to give them because the government didn't give us anything? Make an education. Here's some popsicle sticks. Cure cancer. It is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Well, that was education talk with the boys.
There's a real hunger problem in the world. We're going to give you a paper clip
Yeah.
and some duct tape. And
Hey,
you think
and
you can
you
make
will
that
be
that
graded in 40% of your grade.
Yeah, before we get emails, I want to be clear. Before we get emails about how this person created a water device to clean water for half a continent, we know, and it's awesome. We're not saying that that's not awesome. What we're saying is making everyone in your school do that for half of their grade is preposterous. That's what we're saying, just so we're clear.
Build a computer.
Some kids weren't very good at design thinking in terms like I would have been one of those kids that wasn't great.
You-
If you
you
gave me
would've,
spaghetti and a marshmallow,
yeah.
you'd get me shoving this marshmallow on a spaghetti
At 10
thing. You'd
years
be like,
old, they could have been like, read this 300-page book and give us a report. You'd have crushed it. If they'd have been like, make a house with these 3 things, you'd have been like, no.
please don't make me do that.
Don't do it. I
Please
don't
don't
wanna
make
do
me do that.
Yeah. Good
Where are the
gracious.
words?
Unbelievable.
So yes, teaching would be hard in that situation. I'm confused about what was wrong with the window in the first place. He just
I
kind of
don't
came in
understand.
and
Well, my
banged it
thing
a
is
couple
this,
times.
Is that the way I understood it is the window was stuck open
Stuck.
and it was going to rain.
Yes.
And then he said the wet floors.
But he just hammered it a couple
All right, yeah.
times.
So my thing is that she's very annoyed by this, but it's not like it's going to take him all day. It takes him 10 seconds.
It does.
All she has to do is stop reading and say, we're going to stop reading for 10 seconds. He finishes the window. She keeps reading. But instead, it's a whole bit. It's like she starts to read. She's like, oh, this guy's the worst. He's just trying to fix the window back there on his free day off of
Yeah.
being a Mountie.
And my last one is so they got, we're trying to find Rip the dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to this tunnel that he was in, this shaft that he was in last time. They go in, he's nowhere to be found. Suddenly, a bunch of things fall on them, some boards and whatnot. Still nowhere to be found. We see knees, they kiss, and then suddenly Rip's underneath. Rip's just hanging out over there? Like, where was Rip during this whole storm? Where was Rip?
He was hiding deep in the.
He was hiding real deep.
He was deep
hiding
in there.
real deep.
He was on the hunt.
But like, if Rip heard Jack's voice,
Yeah, I don't get that.
Rip's being a bad boy.
Rip's
Maybe
being
he's old and he's losing his
Rip's a
hair.
wily
Wily.
boy. That's all I got. Dan?
Is it in Jack Wagner's contract as an actor that he never has to wear a Mountie uniform? Like ever? I understand he's undercover, but he's a Mountie, right?
I constantly forget that he's about.
Yeah, I do too.
Like at some point, are we going to see him in the Mountie uniform or is it just, he's just detective
I don't think we've
now?
ever seen him.
And that's just a question. My second one's also just a question, which is how do Gavin and Nora know each other? It's clear that Gavin knows Nora.
Are you saying Gavin?
Gavin.
Gowan.
Gavin, I keep calling him Gavin.
My
How
son?
does Gavin know anyone though? Gavin's that guy everyone knows, but no one knows how they know
Gavin.
him.
Gavin, no, and I know how Gavin.
I don't want to be.
And yeah, he knows everybody. How does Gowan know Nora? I even wrote Gavin in my notes like a moron. How does Gowan know Nora? I know it happened. It probably happened sometime while I was comatose in season 2, but Gowan just knows her well enough to pick up the
I think
phone.
Gavin introduced him.
Gavin could have.
Dude, he knows everyone.
Sneaky Gav.
He's like, there's three separations.
3 degrees.
3 degrees
Gavin.
from Gavin.
Is it 5?
I don't know.
It's 6 from Kevin Bacon, but it's 3
Three
from
for
Gav.
Gavin.
Oh yeah! Wow.
That's the power of Gav.
Power of Gav. That's the power of Gav.
Yeah. I don't know what song we were doing, but I love
What
it.
instrument are you doing? I just need to know an instrument.
I was doing suppression bass.
Suppression bass.
Ooh,
That's the good stuff.
Do you have more?
I have one more. He says after she hurts her knee when the things fall or whatever, you just proved that being a school teacher is just as dangerous as being a Mountie. And the winner for dumbest line ever written. What? No, it's not as dangerous. It just isn't. One guy puts his life in harm's way every single day. It's not as dangerous. I don't understand.
But his clothes are pedestrian.
They are just at best.
On this episode of Queer Eye, we got Jack.
These
are pedestrian.
at best.
At best, they're pedestrian.
Oh, I do have one more. This is the longest day.
Yeah.
I think all of this story happens in one day. One day. because Abigail's talking
The
early
timeline's
on
squabbly on this one.
about
is squabbly.
going fishing. We do the whole mining thing, and then they go fishing after that. I think it all happens on one day. That day probably felt as long as this episode felt to me.
Yeah.
As long.
Fair.
That's all I got.
It's time for Hopes and Valleys, part of the show. We talk about the things that are giving us hope for the future and or things that are bumming us out. Panda.
Season 3's giving me hope.
Yeah.
It's got to, because we can only go up from here, guys. The valley is that we might not, and then that just bums me out even more, because I will say, like, all joking aside, like this was an incredibly boring season of television. It was mind-numbingly boring. And I really like it is like the prospect of this not ever getting better is disappointing to me, because I just know that's hours of just boredom ahead of me.
Like, what's weird is that like good television shows have bad seasons.
Yes.
It happens to the best of us.
Yes.
Like, Friday Night Lights, skip season 2. Community, skip season 4. Like, these things happen. Justified, skip season 5. These things happen, right? They're not uncommon, but for it to be this bad, this isn't like, man, it's just not a good plot. This was something that I would quit. Like, with all of those shows I mentioned, I kept watching through the bad season.
Yes.
With this show, if I was a huge fan, I can't imagine being happy with how this went.
Well, even with bad episodes or bad seasons of television, there's redeeming moments
Yeah.
where you can sit there and you can go, hey, there's a couple really great performances. This is a really cool thing. I like that they did this. There's nothing that you can point to in
real bad.
season 2. There's nothing. There's not a single redeeming arc.
It's bad.
It's just boring. It's terrible.
The best, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, the best thing in all of season 2 was the trial.
I said it at the time.
Yeah. You're
You
right.
guys said the poker game. Were you
Poker
poker
game?
game or trial?
I was trial. Remember how high I was?
Yeah,
on
yeah,
I can't
trial?
remember. I thought the poker game, I said trial, and then
I
poker
said the
game's
trial.
close
The
too.
trial.
Second.
I said at the time, if I remember correctly, the trial rivals anything in season 1, and then I
And
got
then you backed
stoned.
off that real
Yes.
quick.
No, I didn't smoke. You guys don't. You guys get it.
And then I got stoned.
Yeah.
What a time to use that. Woo! Yeah, the trial's the best thing in the whole season. I said it. Can't believe it.
That's episode 1.
Yes, my hope is that the thing that's giving me hope is the fact that they're finally back together. Charles is there, but I mean, who was waiting for season 3, going like, oh, is she going to pick Charles? No one. Like, no one cares about Charles.
None.
So, big. It's not like we're waiting on pins and needles to see what happens. But
How
I'm just
angry will you be if she says yes, though?
I'd be all in.
But like after all that stuff, saying she loves Jack and
She
everything.
can't.
But
It's
it's
gonna-
going to create tension. That's what they're setting up for season
they're not.
3. You know they're going to sit there and
they're going to go back to the writers' table and they're going to be like, "This is dumb. We'll just have her say no, and that'll be the end of Charles."
You would hope so.
It'll be the end of Charles.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
never
the-
see Charles again after episode
Yep,
1.
I would
season
agree with
2.
that statement. Yeah. But I also
Are we
know
gonna
on
get-
his
are we gonna-
IMDb page he only has 7 episodes.
Wait, so we have Christmas next?
Yeah.
So do we get a resolution?
I
at
think we don't
Christmas?
get it until season 3, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Wild. Let's find out. Dan, do you have anything? Hopes?
No,
Valleys?
gosh, no. I'm hopeless.
Let's get to the what's calling my heart. If you want to email us, let us know what you're digging right now. What's kind of bringing you joy. You can email us
Do
at
we need to
hello.
do a Pocket Watch?
Smolder
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
Pocket.
Yes, I'm
Pocket
sorry.
Watch. Is he dead?
No Pocket Watch. We even got a school picture, and Pockets is not
in there.
found. We're very worried about Pockets.
Shout me out if you're okay, Pockets.
Shout me out.
In 2021.
Shout
Let it
me
all
out. And Smolder.
This is way better than anything else we've seen this season. Felt like season 1. I'll give it an 8.
Wow.
Yeah,
An 8.
An 8. I think he did. I think because that
Dude,
scene
there's
when
an
they're-
episode that I gave like an 8.25, and you gave like a 6 in season 1.
Yeah, I'm saying. Listen. I think that this was maybe it's just guys. We've been through a desert wasteland. Let me have this one. Like this. There's not been a lot of Smolder.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Desert Wasteland. I'll give it a 6.3. That scene there in the cave. There's lots of Smolder to be had. 6.3 for Brand.
I am going to give it a 4.5. That scene in the cave gets all 4.5. The rest of it as bad as everything else. Hopefully he's back to being normal Jack in season 3.
All right, what's calling my heart? You can email us, hello@deckthehomework.com. Let us know what is calling your heart, what's bringing you joy right now. Who do we have today, Dan?
Kristen DeShane is who we have today. Hey boys, I'm Kristen
Hey.
from Knoxville, Tennessee. Just wanted to give you a shout out and say that I'm loving the recaps of When Calls the Heart. I've been a hashtag Hardy since 2017, and I'm enjoying hearing your all's take on it. I think she meant you all's take. Your all's take. Could be our all take. I don't know. I wanted to share with you guys, specifically Bran and Panda, on what is calling my heart. No offense, Dan. None taken, Kristen DeShane. God. I know Bran and Panda love the Gilmore Girls. Oh, that's why.
True.
Television show. And wanted to recommend them a show called Bunheads.
Bunheads.
Amy Sherman Palladino is the creator of both shows, and Bunheads is a lot like Gilmore Girls. I finished watching it here recently, and I loved it, and I think you guys would too. Anyway,
It's an ABC Family joint.
Thanks for reading my. That sounds like you guys have already watched it. Have you neither of you heard of it?
No.
Thanks for reading my email, and cheers to the dreaded season 2 of When Calls the Heart. Cheers
Guys,
to you,
let's
Kristen
cheers.
DeShane. Thank you for writing in. You can write in at hello@deckthehallmark.com and tell us what's calling your heart today.
That's exactly right. We will be back tomorrow. Very excited. We're going to be ranking the movies so far this year collectively, the Deck the Hallmark rating and rankings of the
It's gonna
movies
get
so
real.
far. 18 of them is what we have to deal with. We're going to get through it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can do that tomorrow before Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast recorded live in, that Greenville, South Carolina. Is produced by Brandon Gray. Set decor by Plum Haywood Mall. For more information on all Bramble Jam podcasts, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com. For more information on how to listen to Deck the Hallmark ad-free, you can go to bramblejamplus.com.